Hello and good morning friends, welcome to the CEC-UGC live lecture. Dear friends, with the 16th lecture in the series on human resource management, today we would be talking on employee health and safety, and for this very discussion we have once again with us in our studios Dr. Namita Rajput. Dr. Namita Rajput is Associate Professor in Department of Commerce, Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. As we have already mentioned in our previous lectures that she has authored books on human resource management. She keeps on exchanging information and knowledge. She keeps on visiting various universities and colleges for delivering lectures on various subjects. Dear friends, very soon we are going to start a very new series with her, but till now we would like to gather more and more information on human resource management. So as the topic has been already declared, that is employee health and safety, we have once again with us Dr. Namita Rajput. Hello ma'am, welcome to the EduSec lecture.
So good morning viewers. Today I am going to take a very pertinent and very important topic on employee health and safety. I'll start with a quote: healthy employees and healthy business. So this is a very meaningful concept which everyone has understood in the global and liberalized world of today, that we have to take care of the health of the employees and overall the working conditions which are very pertinent for them to increase their performance levels. So starting with this quote, let us have the backdrop and the introduction part of what health issues are and how it is going to affect the performance level of the employees. Now, ensuring a safe and a healthy working conditions primarily is of course a legal responsibilities of every employer. So by laws and by the judicial impact, there is a force on the aspects of the employees that they have to take care of the health issues of the employees. Now when you talk about the moral grounds, or most importantly these days, we have the legal aspects which are more pertinent and important, and nobody can bypass the legal aspects and the legal domain of the health and the health related issues of the organization. Now, employer have a legal responsibility, if not the moral one, to ensure that the workplace is free from unhealthy hazards and that the conditions around the vicinity of the workplace are safe for the employees' physical as well as the mental health. So, as a matter of fact, it is the prime responsibility of the employer to see that unnecessarily health hazards are removed, because it is definitely going to affect their health issues, maybe their physical health as well as their mental health. So both the things are very pertinent and important these days, that neither the physical conditions should be hampered and nor the mental conditions should be hampered because of the unhealthy hazards which are surrounded in the contemporary organizations of today. So it is very significant and very important to design the safety and the health programs to ensure that the physical and the emotional well-being of the workers are of the employees are maintained. So as a matter of fact, we have understood the concept of the health issues, that it is the legal responsibility of the employer to take care and devise of such good programs for the health which is going to affect their mental health as well as the physical health. So they have to take all primarily the steps which is definitely going to affect their health issues. Now there is one more aspect which I want to highlight here, that because of the trade union movements which is like very important these days, so there is a pressure from the trade union also that you cannot do anything wrong with the health of the employees. So they state and they force the employers to keep a very good and safe working conditions for the employees. And not only this, the safe working conditions are not only they talk about in India but across the globe. So let us have a look on this. The growth of the trade union movement has stimulated the management of the organizations all across the globe to provide a safe working conditions and enhanced facilities to the employees. And in addition to this, the organizations have realized the significance of a better working conditions to the personnel or the workers or the employees. And according to a very important health definition given by the WHO, the health has been a state of a complete physical, mental and the social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So there has to be a very important fact to this effect, that we not only try to wipe out and root out the unhealthy hazards, but also we try to inculcate this thing that when you talk about health, it does not mean that removing of all these substances from the working conditions, which is going to affect their emotional, physical and the mental health of the employee. But yes, when we talk about the health, it does not only mean the absence of a disease, it also inculcates a concept of having a good peaceful working conditions, which is definitely going to affect the health conditions of the employee. So they work peacefully, they are happy, because having a mental peace of state is very important for the employees to show their persistence in their performance levels, which is on an increasing side. So let us have a concept of what health means. Now health refers to a state of a complete well-being of an individual. Now when you talk about the well-being, we talk about the physical well-being, we talk about the emotional well-being, and we talk about the mental well-being. So when you talk about the physical well-being, we state that there should not be unnecessarily hazards which are going to affect their physical health. So because ultimately you have to use your physical forces to complete and conclude a particular transaction. Not only this, we should also have an emotional well-being, that is, you are emotionally stable and you are able to control your emotions, because we cannot live in a watertight compartment. What is happening in the home and around, it is definitely going to affect in your professional life. So there has to be a inculcation of the emotional quotient into it, and they should be emotionally stable when you talk about the increasing of the productivity is concerned. So overall, the emotional well-being is very important for the employees, because unnecessarily stress and the mental disorders can take place if you are emotionally unstable. So taking my presentation forward, there is another well-being called the mental well-being, in which you are talking about the mental health of the employees, which is talking about the peace of mind and overall stability in their mental thoughts, etc. So the physical, emotional and the mental well-being is, in totality, we call it as a concept of the health, and we envelop, and it's an umbrella concept. So when you talk about the health, you refer to their physical, mental and emotional health as well. So the employee health should focus on the maintenance of and the promotion of the highest degree of the well-beings of the workers. So again, when you talk about the highest degrees of the well-being of the workers, the well-being includes all the three concepts which I have stated, that is the physical, mental and emotional well-being of an employee. Now overall, there are workers in the organizations in their employment, and they are sustained to various types of risk, be it a physical or emotional and mental, and there are so many conditions which affect their thought process. So overall, a congenial and a very healthy atmosphere should be inculcated in the organizations, which is going to have a very strong spillover on the total well-being of the employees, and in totality we call it as a concept of the health. Now let us have a look on this slide. The general safety rules are: obey all the warning signals and the signs, follow all the safety procedures, do not take shortcuts, do not engage in horseplay, and use a common sense. So you must have seen in the modern day organizations that there are various safety signals and the signs which are on the way of the employees. When you talk about the office, they are played every here now and then, and there are safety signals also which are displayed when you talk about the office. So as a matter of fact, if it says that do not touch, there is a danger sign, so you should not do it, because the safety and the health issues are most important from the organizational point of view. Now when you talk about the mental health, it is very important. When you talk about the physical health, that's also very important, because if the signal says that do not touch it, it may have a high voltage current into it, and you do not and ignore that particular sign, and eventually you die because of the shock and the electric shocks which was mentioned there, but yes, you ignored it. So the first safety issue when you talk about the employees, that you have to obey all the warning signals which are displayed on the employees office, etc. So not only this, you have to follow all the safety the procedures also, like open a lid with a caution, then of course do not peep into it, it might affect your eyes. The rays which are coming out can cause you a blindness. And maybe some noise is mentioned that you when you enter a room you have to put some cotton into your ears because it might affect your hearing, etc. So when you talk about all these issues, you talk about the safety issues of the employees, which are most important, because if you are not physically fit and mentally fit and emotionally fit, you cannot be a asset for the organization. So all these safety issues must be adhered to and should not be ignored at any cost. So not only this, we should not take any kind of a shortcut, because everything has a particular lifespan, every particular time limit. So we need to adhere to this, and we should not try to bypass all the rules and try to reach up to the destination. You never know that destination which you are going to reach is the last destination of your life. So life is a very important aspect, and you should take care of the life and live life very carefully, because the safety issues are most important for the organizations. So more careful you are in terms of following the rules and the regulations and the safety procedures, the better it is for your health, etc. Now, as a matter of fact, when you talk about the employee safety issues, there is a very important concept in the minds of the employer, and they give you a health insurance also, in which the premium may be shared by the employer and the employee. So this is a very welcome step which the employer has to take, because health is wealth. If you do not keep well, or you're not keeping well in terms of your health because of the working conditions, it is primarily the responsibility and the legal responsibility of the employer. So let us have a look on this. The meaning of employee safety. Now, employee safety means protecting the workers from injuries caused due to work and related accidents. So when you talk about the human resource management, employee and health issues, you talk about the concepts relating to the working conditions only. But if you are at home and if you are playing with your life, or you are not obeying the rules of your life, then it's your take. But yes, when you are in office, it is the prime responsibility of the employer to give you the insights of what are the danger signs and how you can protect yourself, and what are the safety rules which you have to adhere to, because it's a legal responsibility, and legal responsibility can never be bypassed. So employee safety is a prime concern for the employer, and definitely when it is only due to the work related to the the working conditions of the employees, and the accidents which take place is because of the work related accidents, only then the responsibility of the employer comes. So secondly, it is essential on the part of the employer to provide safe and healthy workplace to its employees, while employees are expected to follow the rules and the regulations formulated by the top management during the work orientation. Now, when you talk about the working culture of an employee's structure, there are certain the rules, regulations which are displayed very clearly with bigger font on the boards, etc., that you have to adhere to the safety rules of the employees. So as a matter of employee, you are an employee of the organization, so it is your responsibility to follow all the rules and the regulations which have been framed by the management, and it is on one side, that is the employees have to follow the rules and regulations, and on the other side of it, the employer has to really take care of the good and the safe working conditions which has to be supplied by straight the top level management. Now, when you talk about the top level management, it has to frame certain safety and good programs which are relating to health and the safety issues of the employees, which is the prime and the pertinent concern of the employer. So this is the responsibility which has to be fulfilled by the management, and on the other side of it, to follow those rules and regulations is the responsibility of the employees. So if there is a fallout on each of this side, that is, if the employees, they do not fulfill their responsibilities, and on the other side, if the employer also do not fulfill their responsibilities, then of course the situation would be worse, and ultimately and eventually the health of the workers will be hampered. So you as an employee must be aware that the legal responsibility of the employer, so you must work towards it. And not only this, when there is a right, there is a duty as well. So it is your duty also which you should never bypass. I'm talking from the employee's point of view. Now see, When you talk about the injuries relating to work or anything related to work accidents, then of course it is the responsibility of the employer. So you should know yourself and you should protect yourself, as a good message which I am giving to the employees. Now, what is the significance of the employee health? Let us discuss all these concepts in detail. The employee health is essential due to the following reasons. Number one, it promotes and maintains the worker's health and the human working capacity. Now see, when you are healthy, when you are physically fit, you are mentally fit, you are bound to be a good worker compared to a person who is mentally not well or physically not well. So the first and the prime advantage of the good health of an employee is that you become a good performer in the organization in terms of giving more production and productivity, which is definitely an indirect form of increasing your profits. So this is a prime concern which you must know, that a healthy employee can give you more profits. Coming on to the next aspect of the significance of the employee health. The second is it promotes and maintains the worker's health and the working capacity, as we have discussed as a first point. The second is the improvement of the working conditions so that the workers can perform their best in safe and healthy environment. Now see, when you talk about the working conditions are very pertinent in terms of the performance of the workers are concerned. So when you give the good working conditions to them, it is definitely going to increase their performance because they feel safe and they feel healthy when they are a part of the good working conditions. If there is some kind of an issue in relating to their working environment, then of course it is going to have a very negative spillover on the productivity of the organization. So you must take care of this aspect, that of course the good health means a good to promote and maintain the workers' health and working capacity. Not only this, the improvement of the working condition is also going to prove a very positive mindsets in the minds of the employees, that yes, they are working in a very good working conditions. The employer are really taking care of the machinery and etc. There is a monthly and a weekly maintenance of the machines also, because there are so many accidents which take place because of the non-maintainable working conditions of the machines. So overall, each and every minute detail in terms of the safety and the health issues become primarily a major part of the safety programs of the organization, and of course it is going to increase the productivity if every vital aspect and the spectrum of these issues are taken into consideration as a part of the policy matter. The next is the development of the work organizations and the culture which promotes a positive social climate and enhance the productivity in the firm. So when you talk about the development of the organizations as a whole, the culture is promoted and it promotes a positive social climate, that is they have a social inclination. And when you talk about the social inclination, it means that we are taking care of the society as a whole, and of course the employees are a part of the society, so we are taking care of their health and their safety issues. So there is overall a very positive mindset in the minds of the employees, that yes, the employer is really taking care of the working conditions of the employers. Now definitely when you are putting your best efforts in terms of giving the health and the safety programs and devices in the organization, it leads to reduction in the industrial accidents and injuries. Now you understand that an employee supposed to be the biggest asset of the organization, because this is perhaps the only living organization's input and the factor of production which is living in nature, and they have their own likes and dislikes, they have their own emotional and physical state of mind, and the physical state and the mental state of mind. So overall you cannot do so much of experiments with them. So as a matter of fact, if you give them good working conditions, it is definitely going to create a very positive mindset, positive environment, rise in production, and overall safety and health issues are being taken care of. So overall, this is a win-win situation in the minds of the employees, that yes, all their issues are adhered to and they have a complete voice in the management of the organization, that nothing is bypassed and nothing is ignored when their health and the safety issues are concerned. So overall, under this backdrop, the number of accidents and the injuries are less. And of course, when a human being is good and proving to be a good asset for the organization, and if he undergoes an accident or there is a major injury, so definitely we are going to lose that kind of an efficient worker, which is again a loss to the organization. So we have to take care of this, that in any case we are able to restore the safety and the measures and the health issues in the organization, because we do not want to lose any kind of a good worker in the organization, and of course who is going to be proving to be the best asset for the organization. And it definitely improves the employee morale also, and it leads to a better industrial relationship. Now, for years together, we have seen in the yesteryears that there has been strikes and lockouts, because the lopsided approach is followed by the management. That is, the management only takes care of its own benefits, how they are going to reap more profits, and keeping the health and the safety issues at the backdrop, whereas the workers always feel that yes, they are only talking about themselves and they ignore the core aspects of the management. So either side, they are just individualistic in nature and they are not taking care of as a cooperative effort and a team effort, so that there is a win-win situation from the employee's point of view as well as the employer point of view. So the end result of this is that there are industrial conflicts, and which is definitely very difficult to be resolved. So we have to take care of this major aspect, that yes, we have to create a very congenial and good industrial relations, which is a byproduct of giving good safety and health programs at the prime top level, and make them endorsed to the people at large or the employees at large in your organization. If the employees do not even know about these programs, again they will not have that kind of a feel that yes, management is doing so much for them, so they should also do the things for them. So overall, the kind of information dissemination must be given to the staff level and to the employees at large, that yes, their aspects and their concept in terms of safety and health issues are of prime importance to the management, and hence it improves the industrial relations, that is the relationship between the management and the workers. Now, of course, it also results in the better quality, and the workers can concentrate more in the work rather than on the trivial issues like the machine is not doing well, there are some problems in relating to power. So all these issues must not be a part when the workers are performing. These issues must be taken care of by the employers primarily, because all these issues are going to affect the productivity of the employees, which should not be there. Then overall, there is a rise in the efficiency levels of the employees. So overall, in this session, we have seen the concept, meaning, and the various issues addressed by the management, and what is the importance of the health and the safety programs in terms of giving and increasing the productivity in the organization. So overall, let us have a recap on the significance of the employee health. That is, if the employee health and the safety programs are formulated on the topmost basis, what is the effect and the results of the having a employee health program in your organization? So the first is, it reduces the number of accidents and the injuries. Number 2, it improves the morale and leads to better industrial relations. Number 3, the results is better quality of work, as the workers can concentrate more at work. The next is, it helps in improving the productivity and efficiency in the organization. So overall, we have seen in this concept that yes, these are primarily most important from the organizational point of view, and the performance and the productivity is going to be enhanced if these programs are given prime importance in terms of framing, endorsing and implementing both the safety and the health issues in the organizations. So in the next session, I would be talking about the direct principles of the state in India and the policy framework in relation to health and other issues, because I told you in the beginning, and the first line was this, that when you talk about the health and the legal programs, it is a legal responsibility. So we must have a legal framework which must be highlighted, and every Indian must know that yes, they have something to do with their rights in terms of protecting their health and the various related other issues in the organizations. Thank you so much. Yes, hello friends. So in this part of the presentation, I would be talking about the direct principles of the state of Indian relating to the health and the safety of the employees. So it's very important to understand the laws of the country and what particular provisions are there to protect the health and health related issues in terms of the workers. So let us have a look on this. According to Government of India, the Ministry of Labour and Employment, the directive principles provide for securing the health and strength of employees, men and women both. The tender age of the children are not abused, that the citizens are not forced by economic necessity to enter into avocations unsuited to their age or strength. Just and human conditions of work and maternity relief are provided, and that the government shall take steps by suitable legislation or in any other way to secure the participation of employees in the management of undertakings, establishments or other organizations engaged in any industry. So in this particular slide, we have talked about the direct principles which have been stated by the Government of India. So overall crux of is that we should not be taking care of and employing those people who are under age, number one. All the maternity and other physical benefits specifically for the lady employees must be endorsed to them. Number three, you should not be allowed to do such kind of a work just because of the economic necessity which your age does not allow, like carrying of the heavy weights, etc. So you should not allow these kind of people who are under age to do certain things which does not suit their age. And not only this, the overall good and just human working conditions must be provided to all the employees. So overall, when you talk about the government policy, it takes care of the 360-degree safety and the health issue measures which must be adopted by all organizations, because we are humans and humanity is kept on the prime focus when you talk about the legal and the policy framework of the Government of India. Now let us have a look on the laws regulating occupational safety and health. that is we call it as OSH. So let us have a look on this slide. On the basis of the above mentioned directive principles and international instruments, the Government of India declares its policies, priorities, strategies and the purpose through the exercise of its power. The government is committed to regulate all economic activities within the country with a view to ensuring that every working employee is provided with health and helpful working conditions. According to Government of India, enacted the statutes relating to occupational safety and health at workplaces. So we are going to do this one by one. The first is the Mines Act 1952, and the rules and the regulations framed under this are the Factories Act 1948 and the rules framed thereon under Dock Workers Safety Health Welfare Act 1986 and the regulations and the rules made thereunder, the Building and Other Construction Workers Regulation of Employment and the Conditions of the Service Act 1996 and the rules framed thereunder, the Dangerous Machine Regulation Act 1983 and the rules framed thereunder, the Insecticides Act 1968 and the rules framed thereunder, the Shops and the Establishment Act of State Governments, the Bedi and Cigar Workers Conditions and Employment Act 1966, the Municipal Solid Waste, that is Handling and Handling, the Rules 2000 notified under the Environment Protection Act 1986 and the Manufacture, Storage and Import of Hazardous Chemical Rules 1989, the Electricity Act 2003, etc. So these are some of the pertinent and important statutes covering the occupational OSH aspects of the workers, that is occupational, safety and health aspects. At present, the comprehensive safety and health statutes for regulating OSH at workplaces exist not only in respect of the four sectors, that is mining, factories, ports and constructions. So let us have a recap of what we have done in these two particular slides, because they are very technical and you must know that what particular acts and legislative acts have been passed to protect the workers and the various provisions in terms of the construction of these particular act, and you must understand the backdrop of passing of such particular acts. So let us talk about now the Mines Act. The people who are working in mines are always vulnerable in terms of the safety issues. So particularly the Mines Act 1952 has been passed. Similarly, there are certain rules and the regulations and the provisions which the factory people also must know. So we have a particular Factories Act in which the timings, compensation, the laws, regulations, etc. in terms of giving them the benefits of their leaves, etc. are all covered. So that these rules and the regulations are passed in the particular act of the parliament, and then they become the act. So under the backdrop of it, there are so much of discussions and so many parameters are discussed. So because once the act is framed, then the amendment can take place, but you should try to envelop all the vital and the pertinent issues when you're making the particular laws in a particular country. So all the rules and the regulations are covered in terms of the building and other construction workers also, because we are having the primary and the secondary sector, so and the services sector also. So we try to envelop according to their the type and the nature of the work they are doing. And if they're working into a dangerous machines, then we have a Dangerous Machine Act in 1983. Followed by if you're working with the bidi and cigar workers, so again we have a Act of 1966, and similarly if you are working for the environment, we have the Environment Protection Act 1986, and all these legislations and the acts, they are revised again now and then, because we are living in a dynamic world. So there are certain contingent conditions and the provisions which can immediately emerge. So to envelop that, to cover that, we either put it into some particular act, or we just pass an amendment, or maybe we pass a particular new act also if the situation demands so. So all these important statutes are covering the occupational and the safety health, because we are having different occupations, we are having different health reasons, we have different safety reasons. They are not common for all types of workers. So that is why we have passed on with a very specific and the particular acts, so that we can envelop and cover all the specific aspects relating to that particular act. Now let us have a look on the major objectives of providing employee health and safety. That is, why do we pass this, and what are the basic objectives behind giving the health and the safety issues to the employees. So the main objectives of providing employees with the health and the safety are as follows. Number one, it leads to the reduction in the occurrence of the work related injuries, diseases, fatalities and the loss of the company's asset. So you must understand that the issue is so important from the organizational point of view, that if you want to increase the work performance of the employees, definitely you want to reduce the injuries and the accidents which take place because of the work. So we pass these particular safety programs which are relating to health and safety, because we want to reduce the number of accidents and we want to increase the performance level of the employees. Second, it improved coverage of the work related injuries, diseases and providing a work complete database for the facilitating better performance and monitoring. So improved coverage of work related injuries, diseases and providing with a complete database for facilitating the better performance and monitoring. Now see, certain jobs are under more risk, in which the number of accidents which can take place is more. So basically the safety and the health programs are there to counter that, and of course the related issues are also countered in terms of giving them better performance and monitoring them, so that the future working conditions in terms of reduction in the accident etc. is maintained. Next is continuous development of the community awareness regarding safe and healthy working environment is there. So if we want these programs to be a success, there has to be a complete awareness and endorsement of this information to the lower people and in terms of all the employees which are on the payrolls of the organization. Unless and until there is an awareness, or they do not know about all these things, then how will they implement it? So you must give all the attention in terms of the information dissemination to these people, so that they understand that yes, if this happens, this is the provision, if that happens, this is the provision. So complete information awareness programs must be given, and in fact the organization must keep 1 or 2 day seminar to exhibit the kind of the policy framework they have for the safety and the health issues of the organization, and the policies which are framed by the top level management in relation to health and the safety issues. They must be uploaded on the website of the organization also, so that on a click of a button this information is available to all the employees of the organization. Now let us understand what you mean by industrial accidents. Let us have a look on this. An industrial accident is an unanticipated and a sudden event that can result in bodily injuries and property damage. So when you talk about the industrial accidents, it not only refers to some kind of body injuries, it also refers to the property damage of the organization also. Now according to the Factories Act 1948, an industrial accident has been defined as an industrial accident, an occurrence in an industrial establishment causing bodily injury to a person which makes him unfit to resume his duties in next 48 hours. So you must understand that if any physical injury is causing an individual to make him unfit and he is not able to come on to his or restore himself for another 48 hours, we call it as a industrial accidents. So let us now understand that because of what reasons or what are the causes of industrial accidents. These are some of the interesting facts which everyone should understand, because if you know the causes of the industrial accidents, you can always work towards it so that they are reduced to a substantial extent. So let us have a look on what are the causes of industrial accidents. There are two basic causes of industrial accidents at workplace, which include unsafe conditions and second is unsafe acts. So there are two possible reasons because of the industrial accidents which take place. Number one, if you're working in very unsafe working conditions, and number two, if you're doing some unsafe acts in the organization. So some of them are explained here. What do you mean by unsafe conditions? Now these are the hazards from the job itself, and in industries there are many jobs which are highly prone to accidents. You must understand these insights very deeply, because if you do not know the causes of the accidents, how can you remove them or how can you uproot them? So it is very important to understand what are the possible reasons for the industrial accidents. As has already been discussed, there are basically two causes. One is because of the unsafe working conditions and the other is because of the unsafe acts which are done by the employees. So we talk about the unsafe working conditions and then we would talk about the unsafe acts. So when you talk about the unsafe conditions, we talk about certain construction jobs or maybe a coal mining. The construction site and the coal jobs are so vulnerable that the number of accidents which are bound to take place is more, because if the construction is going on, the structure is so kacha in nature that if you climb that structure, you have all the possibilities that you might fall down. Similarly, when you talk about the mines, there are also the fallouts and the accidents are more if you are a mine worker. So owing to this, even if you try to make the conditions good, you're working on a particular site, so these are bound to happen. So all the care is taken by the employees to counter these kind of vulnerable problems and vulnerable situations, specifically when you talk about the construction workers and the mine workers, because here the possibilities of the accidents are much more compared to any other occupation. Now it can also take place, the unsafe working conditions. These are the two pertinent issues which we have discussed, like for example the mine workers, and could be because of the construction jobs. And not only this, there are other reasons also which can really contribute to the causes of the industrial accidents, like if you're using the machines and the equipments, they are faulty. So because of the defective equipments and machines, the accidents can take place. Improper lighting and illumination is one of the reasons, because you're not having a right amount of light in front of you, so it becomes very difficult. Then of course the overcrowded workplace can be congested in nature and it can give you some kind of health issues or respiratory disorders or some kind of allergies, etc. So the safety equipments are sometimes missing, so this could be another reason for the industrial accident. And unsafe procedures which you are using and improper ventilation can also give a lot of damage to your health. So as a matter of fact, you must understand that these are the working conditions, that is the proper lighting, ventilation is absent, and it could be an overcrowded place, it could be because of the improper lighting, it could be because of the defective machines and equipments, etc. Now let us understand. As I told you in the beginning that the industrial accidents take place because of two reasons. One was the unsafe working conditions, which we have already discussed in detail. Now is the turn to explain the unsafe acts. So let us have a look on this. What do you mean by unsafe acts? Now unsafe acts are operating machines at unsafe speeds. So because of the speed, the problem can take place. Making safety devices inoperative by removing them, using equipments improperly, and using unsafe procedure in the production process. So this could be one of the reasons for the industrial accidents, that you're not operating the machines at safe speeds. If the speed is much more, and this can really cause a lot of problem, because unnecessarily the rotation per minute would go up, the use and the consumption of the power would go up, and maybe you're not able to handle that kind of a speed, which can really cause industrial accidents. And not only this, if the safety devices are there and you have removed, you means the employer has put in those machines, but they are inoperative or they have been removed. So the presence of which could have reduced the number of accidents, but the absence of which has really increased the number of industrial accidents. So maybe you are not able to use the equipments properly, and maybe the procedures which you are adopting to use those particular machines are also unsafe. So these are the particular reasons because of which the industrial accidents take place. One was because of the unsafe working conditions, and the second was because of the unsafe acts of the human beings. So there can be another category because of which the problems can occur, or the industrial accidents can take place. So let us have a look on this. These are the miscellaneous causes. So let us have a look on this slide. The first is fatigue. The second is stress. Third is lack of cleanliness. The next is poor health of the workers, and last could be the lack of experience of the workers. So if the causes are not fitted in those two categories, so we are putting here in a miscellaneous causes. So this can also lead to industrial accidents. The first is fatigue. Now see, if the organization is working into shifts, and if the workers are insisting on working on a overtime, he's working on morning also shift and working for the evening shift also. So there can be a mental fatigue which can really cause, and he becomes inefficient because there is a human capacity to work. After your capacity is over, you feel like sleeping, or there's a dizziness, and or maybe the overall instincts to work and the efficiency goes down. So as a matter of fact, the organizational people who are framing the policy of the safety and the health programs of the organization, they must see to it that the people are not working for more than one shift a day, because one shift is the human capacity, that is 8 hours, or maybe 1 or 2 extra time, 1 or 2 more hours may be allowed, but yes, they should not be allowed to work consecutively for the 2 shifts, because this can really cause a lot of industrial accidents. The second could be a stress. Now stress these days is very prevalent, and there are a lot of psychologists and other doctors who are working towards it, because stress is something which takes away, which steals away your everything, and you become a non-performer in your field. So the lack of cleanliness can be another, because cleanliness also plays a very vital role. If you are working in a messed up conditions, you are bound to go into for more number of accidents. Then the poor health of the worker can also be one of the reasons for industrial accidents. If he is not keeping well, he's having fever, or maybe the working conditions are bad, there is no lighting and ventilation, so this has caused a real take on his health. And if that worker is doing for the organization, so definitely his contribution would be very, very less. And the lack of experience of the workers, if you are trying to keep such good and staff, then of course the accidents would be reduced. But yes, if you are not taking in the experienced staff and just trying to put new incumbents to the risky machines, then of course it is one of the major causes for the industrial accidents. Now let us have a look on the working conditions affecting the employee health. The working conditions must be very good, and the responsibility of keeping the good healthy working condition lies on the top management and the employer of your organization. So we'll discuss one definition given by International Labour Organization, that is ILO. So it says that the productivity of an enterprise can be improved only if the workers are provided with safe and healthy working conditions. So the impact of the good healthy working condition is so important on the performance of the employees. So let us discuss what these working conditions must have. Number 1, the cleanliness and the hygiene factors must be maintained. Number 2, proper lighting must be there, because otherwise you're going to miss out on some vital points, and which has to be pressed, or maybe there should not be any kind of a complex procedure we are not able to see. So proper lighting must be there, which gives you a good working conditions, etc. And it should be illuminated enough to understand and see all the important parts of the machines, and overall productivity is going to be increased. The next is your temperature and ventilation must be maintained. If you're working in a very humid temperature, you will not be able to produce more, and the ventilation can also give a bad toll on your health, because you will not be able to breathe, and maybe you have some respiratory disorders. Excessive noise could be another hiccup in terms of the working conditions. If you are working on a noisy machines, they must be kept in a noise proof rooms, because otherwise your hearing is going to be impacted, and it can reduce the even the tightening of the doors and the ventilations. They can be humming around, and it can be a very disturbing factor, and you are not having a good peace of mind working under those noisy conditions. So a care must be taken that if the noisy machines are there, or if there is buzz and humming around, then there should proper be tools which be implemented to counter those noise, and the soundproof rooms must be there under which the machines can be kept. Then dust and fumes also should be avoided, and there should be proper cleanliness about cleaning and sweeping of the rooms, and fumes must be not there because they are going to affect your health of the employee. And the working space and the sitting arrangement should be such that you feel free in all your body movements, in traveling from one place to another, in moving from one place to another. If you are working in a very congested environment, definitely you feel suffocated, and you do not wish to come there again and again. You would like to see the light of the day. You want to go out with more breaks, and these kind of activities you would do if the arrangements are not good. So the sitting arrangement must be very carefully arranged and carefully done. It should be stress-free environment and atmosphere in the organization. So let us now have the last aspect of today, that is the legal provisions to ensure the safety of the employees. The Factories Act 1948 emphasizes the following: the cleanliness, that is, every factory should be kept clean and free from effluenza arising from any drain, privy and other nuisance. Number 2, disposal of the waste and the effluents. Effective arrangements should be made in every factory for the treatment of waste and effluents due to manufacturing process carried on therein, so as to render them innocuous, and for their other disposal of waste also. The next is the ventilation and the temperature. The effective and suitable provisions must be made in every factory for securing and maintaining every work room. The dust and the fumes must be taken in factory for prevention of inhalation and accumulation of dust and fumes in every room. Artificial dehumidification must be done, because artificial humidification in every factory where the humidity in the air is artificially increased. The prescribing methods must be adopted to secure adequate ventilation and cooling in the rooms, in the workrooms, etc. Then overcrowding must be avoided, as it leads to disturbance in the work and creates a stressful atmosphere in the enterprises. Then it comes to the lighting effect. It should be properly illuminated and lighted. The drinking water must be available in every premises when you talk about the factory. Then the urinals and the latrines must be there, so that because it's a nature's call, and the workers must have the convenient places to go in for all these kind of activities. And further, separated enclosed accommodation shall be provided for males as well as for the females. Then we must have the spit rooms. In every factory there should be provided a sufficient number of spit rooms in convenient places, so that they feel the hygiene and the working conditions could be maintained. And not only this, we talk about the measures to ensure the industrial safety. When you want to ensure the industrial safety in the organization, the safety committees must be there, which talks about and envelops all the safety issues in the organization, and the safety policy must be revised again and again. So let us have a look on this. A safety committee should be constituted in every industry, which should constitute of the representatives of the management as well as of the employees. The main purpose of this committee is to conduct the safety programs to ensure the industrial safety. The safety policy also is very necessary for every industrial establishment to formulate a safety policy which aim at reducing a number of the hazardous factors which can cause industrial accidents. A safety policy in every establishment is possible only with the help of the top management and the cooperation of the workers as well as of the employees. The safety engineering must be done. The safety education and campaign must be done. The support of the top management is very, very essential, because you cannot endorse and do anything when you talk about the management aspects of it. Then the government support has been formed by the National Safety Council of India in 1966 to promote safety consciousness at the industrial and the various organization. It aims to create the accident-free environment at the industrial unit. So let us have a last topic of today, that is the employer and employee responsibility for health and safety. According to Institute for Safety and Health Management, that is ISHM, the employees must be informed about the hazards which are likely to occur in the workplace during health and safety training. Precautionary labels, color codes, chemical information sheets and emergency alarms must be exhibited on the doors and vital places like near the cafeteria or near the urinals, so that they are the places where they visit quite often during the day. So all the information must be given and placed on those particular information boards. Then bookkeeping and safeguard of medical rooms must be there, because if the injury happens, they are able to contact those medical rooms, and the medical rooms must be having all the kind of equipments and the safety, emergency injections and or maybe a call of the ambulance, because anything can happen to any time. An industrial accident, they do not see the time. So of course the medical screening procedure must be there. Update of the bulletin and the citations must be there on the website as well and on the mobile networks also. And immediately they inform the OSA in the first 8 hours in case of a workplace. That is, if something goes wrong, it must be immediately informed. And if all the care is taken in terms of the activities of the organization, then of course the health and the safety issues are restored and everybody feels happy that they are working in the good place and their grievances are heard and all the safety issues are prime for the management aspects. So I hope the session was quite enlightening for you, and I have tried to cover all the provisions even of the state and giving you examples of the Institute for Safety and the Health Management also, so that you can have the insights of the vital information which must be exhibited in the factory premises, so that all the workers, they also know that what they are and what the provisions are there in case of any emergency. Thank you so much.
With this note, thank you ma'am, thank you so very much for giving us a very vivacious session once again. And dear friends, if you want to give your feedback for this lecture, then you can mail us at info.cc@nic.in. We would be meeting again very soon. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Thank you ma'am, thank you so very much.